The Raiders are getting written off again. The noise outside is deafening. Analysts calling this a punt year, whispering about Vegas being stuck in rebuild mode, insisting they don't have a shot in the AFC West. But when two legends who know exactly what winning football looks like, Howie and Tom Brady, start weighing in, it's time to tune out the hot takes and listen. Because what they see in this Raiders team isn't just a rebuild, it's a reset. It's a foundation being laid, one that could shock the league sooner than people think. The first name that matters is Pete Carroll. From the moment Carroll walked into the building, the culture flipped. Howie didn't mince words. The vibe changed immediately. Carroll brought toughness, accountability, and discipline back to a locker room that had been searching for identity. And Long didn't just talk about intangibles. He broke down what this offense is going to look like. Heavy doses of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, smash mouth football, an old school Raiders identity reborn under Carroll's watch. But what really stood out was Long's final point, 1-2. Many people overlooked. He said the thing that changes close games isn't just talent, it's decisions. Last year, the Raiders were abysmal in game management, worst coaching in the NFL, a quarterback room that didn't belong on Sundays, a dead last run game, and a coordinator who couldn't scheme his way out of a paper bag. Combine that with injuries piling up across the defense, and it was a disaster. Yet even in the middle of that chaos, 8 of their 13 losses were one-score games in the fourth quarter. Think about that. With terrible coaching, broken schemes, and no stability, they were still within striking distance. That tells you the roster wasn't hopeless. It was wasted. Now, Carroll is on the sideline, Chip Kelly is running the offense. Geno Smith has the keys at quarterback. Ashton Jeanty injects juice into the backfield. That's 4 major upgrades at 4 foundational spots. So when those one-score games come again, the Raiders aren't folding, they're closing. And let's be real about the defense. The secondary last year was historically bad, graded the worst unit in the NFL since 2021. Cutting almost everyone from that group wasn't a risk, it was a necessity. Burn it down, start fresh. That's exactly what Carroll did. At linebacker, expensive contracts are gone, replaced with players who fit the scheme better. Up front, the defensive line has the talent to dominate if it stays healthy, and if Patrick Graham can't make this group function under Carroll's watch, the leash won't be long. Carroll is a defensive coach at heart. He won't tolerate excuses. That's Howie's point in full. You fix the little things, clock management, situational football, game day decisions, and those coin flip losses flip into wins. That's how you go from 6 wins to 9 or 10. Without needing a superstar at every position. It's the difference between a team that folds and a team that believes. Now shift to Tom Brady. His words carried weight too, even if fans nitpick the way he said them. Brady has called the Raiders them instead of us in public interviews, and people online twisted that into a narrative that he's not invested. Let's cut through the noise. Brady has a $365 million broadcasting deal on the line. He has to speak like an analyst. That doesn't mean he's not committed. When he talks about Pete Carroll, it's with the voice of someone who knows exactly what a winning program looks like. Stability, leadership, a plan. Brady pointed out what everyone in the division already knows. To survive the AFC West, you need a heavyweight coach. Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton. The Raiders now have Carroll in that same category. He's been there, built programs from scratch, taken them to championships, and weathered storms that would have buried lesser coaches. Carroll doesn't panic. He doesn't improvise chaos. He builds systems, brings young players along steadily, and keeps teams competitive year after year. That's why the noise around Amari Cooper somehow blocking young wideouts is just that, noise. Carroll has always played rookies, but he does it smartly. Early in the season, he gives them defined roles. As the weeks go by, he expands their responsibilities. By midseason, they're key contributors. Cooper gives them stability and leadership while they learn, not a roadblock. That's Carroll's balance. Win now. Build for the future at the same time. So no, this roster isn't flawless. Depth is still a concern. Injuries could derail progress. Patrick Graham has to prove himself, but calling this year a punt is missing the point. Carroll didn't come here to tank. He came here to compete right now while laying down a foundation that will last. Brady sees it. Howie long sees it. And if you strip away the lazy narratives, you'll see it too. Look at the latest NFL power rankings. Vegas is hovering in the late teens to high 20s depending on the analyst. Some call it cautious optimism, others still doubt, but nearly all agree on one thing: Carroll's first year will bring improvement, the offense powered by Geno. Smith, Ashton Jeanty, and rookie sensation Brock Bowers finally has the pieces to move the ball, sustain drives, and score consistently. The defense remains the question mark outside of Max Crosby. Too many young, unproven pieces, but Carroll's fingerprints are all over the rebuild. Fast, aggressive, moldable. Some analysts are all in on the culture change. Others want to see proof before they believe. And maybe that's fair, but the vibe inside this team is undeniable. They have talent, they have leadership. And for the first time in years, they have a plan. The bottom line is simple. With better coaching, smarter decisions, and a quarterback who won't fold in the fourth quarter, the Raiders are going to surprise people. This isn't blind hope. This is a shift in identity, from chaos to discipline, from wasted potential to execution. It won't be easy, not in this division, but for the first time in a long time, the Raiders feel like the Raiders again, and nothing terrifies the NFL more than a Raiders team that knows who it is. Just win, baby.